Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is G. Cole, and welcome to Homegrown, where I get to share with you some good music while talking to some great people. Hello world, I hope you're feeling as good as I am. I want to big up all my homegrown listeners out there and welcome all the new listeners. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do, so we can keep you updated when new material is available. We will be posting new episodes bi-weekly. This is episode 23. Today we're doing it a little bit differently. For the first time, we actually are recording a podcast live on Facebook. So all the masses tuning in on Facebook live right now, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. Secondly, we have a panel in-house in the studio tonight. I've got Mr. Zemroy Lewis, bass player extraordinaire, musician to the stars. I've got Mr. Jason J. Vibe Farmer in here, Grammy nominated and Grammy winning producer. I've got Miss Yendi Songbird, one of the most talented young songstresses in the game. I've got Sir Rockwell, radio DJ personality, CEO of a radio station, and I'm going to get into their bios and talk a little bit more to them and about them a little bit more. But primarily today's topic is to address the issue of how come with all the plethora of talent that we have here in the South Florida area, we're not breaking any artists. We've got the most talented musicians, we've got radio personalities, we've got artists, we've got everything, producers, but we're not breaking any artists. So we're going to talk about it, see where we come from. All right, keep it moving, keep it grooving. It is Homegrown.
Yendi Songbird, well, another one today, Anthony, girl. Hey. Talk to them, baby. Yeah. Sing, I said hello. I know you want me. What happened, babes? And you said no. I know you want me. Want it, you know. In your eyes, so tempting. You see me wine, oh boy, you're lurking. You bring me to life like no other, my love. Your smile is so sweet, got me stuck on your love. A second will feel like a lifetime for us. Skin complexion, shaded by the sun. You tell me you miss me when we are apart. Miles and the distance won't tear us apart. Sending me pictures and I send you some. Drive me crazy thinking about your love so.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that one was Yendi Songbird featuring Mr. Paul Anthony. That one is a big tune. It's called Love Chant. Yendi, congrats on that one. That's a fat tune. I like it.
Thank you. Sound mad.
It mad. Don't you bad like it's been not telling a lie. So the thing go. World, listen, I want to thank you again all for logging in. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing the state of South Florida's musical affairs and why, despite the abundance of talented musicians, artists, producers, and so forth, and a vibrant live music scene, breaking an artist here in South Florida seems to be an elusive target. I don't know why. So my esteemed panel today consists of course, Mr. Zemroy Lewis, you know what I mean, extraordinaire, done it all, done it with everyone, and done it in the biggest...
Shut.
Ain't quiet on this one.
Mad. Trust me. We also have Miss Yendi
Songbird. She's one of the hardest ladies in show business right now. South Florida's own. We're very proud of her. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
We also have with us the CEO of RockTheBox.net. He's a media personality, a DJ, event host, the host of the most syndicated radio show on internet radio with over 42 stations carrying the show. Am I right, Rockwell?
That's correct, sir.
Bomb, the Wake Up and Live show. Sir Rockwell's in the building. We also have a multi-Grammy nominated and a two-time Grammy nominee winning. A two-time?
Nami winning.
Yeah, Nami women.
Two-time Grammy-winning producer, musician, musical director, someone who has produced for the likes of Keisha Cole, Tessan Chin, Bunji Garlin, Kimani Marley, Estelle, Etana, Third Will, G. Cole, G. Will, Raps and Kush, Sizzler.
To name a few.
To name a few. J-Vibe bio is on this flash drive. So we'll go get it. He's the hardest working man in music, Mr. Jason J-Vibe Farmer. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for passing through. Appreciate you. I'm going to get straight into it. I'm more than impressed with the level of artists and the level of musicianship that we have here in South Florida. That's just me. There's hardly a name in reggae music and any other genre, of course, because I know you don't just do reggae, that I can mention that haven't come through South Florida. They feed on the plethora of talent that we have here. My concern, though, is why can't we break an artist? As per my research, previous research, the hubs would be considered for reggae music, of course, Jamaica, California, which produces artists, maybe a different type of reggae, but reggae nonetheless. New York, we've seen from back in the day till now, they've had their Shiners, their Patchas, them Shaggy, them Cranium of late, and a host of other fairly successful acts. But despite all the Grammy Awards sitting on mantelpieces here in South Florida, we can't break no stars, and we want to figure out why. So we're starting with Yendi. She's in the trenches. No, I mean from the standpoint of you're the artist. You're the artist. So I gotta come from you're on the grind.
Whatever.
You on the grind and you're in the trenches and you're doing what's going on. What's the reason why South Florida is not pushing out? It's not the talent, but why aren't we breaking artists here in South Florida?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think mostly it's a lot of indie artists that they're kind of stuck on the facade of it, rather than actually indulging in the industry and learning all the aspects that comes with it. I think a lot of artists tend to kind of be fixed in their ways and complacent with where they are. They don't feel the need to leave. If this person did it, then I could do it too, which in fact is true. But if you're an introvert and you choose to be an introvert rather than be an extrovert, stepping out of your comfort zone and going and meeting the right people, being placed in the right places, then, it can make things really hard. So I think that's probably one of the top reasons why a lot of artists don't break, because they're kind of complacent.
I gotcha. I like that. It makes me think, because we all know artists. And you sit back and you think, shoot, sometimes we are the artist. But you sit back and think, okay, that sounds a little familiar. Sir Rockwell, you're on the side of the fence that's normally called upon to break the artist. DJs in the past would, self-applaud on their ability to break an artist. What's different then versus now?
First of all, let me do the proper greetings. Thank you so much for having me on Homegrown with G-Cole. I've waited all my life to make it on this show. I knew 2018 was going to be a big year, but now it's been confirmed. I am now on Homegrown with G-Cole, sitting with Zemroy Lewis, Yendi, and Jason J-Vibe 5, not to mention, G-Cole himself. All right, so we're taking care of that. Yendi is absolutely right. But I think we have to get a little further into what complacency is. I moved down here in 94 from New York, and without a doubt, back then, South Florida was the second cousin to reggae. It was kind of where New York reggae artists came to vacation more than anything else.
Wow.
In the last 22 years or so, I would dare say that if South Florida is not the Mecca, it is definitely rivaling New York. From a production standpoint, from an artist based in South Florida. It used to be coming down here and do a show and fly back out. Right. Like you said, there's a talent pool like no other in South Florida right now. And I know my New York artists are going to be very upset with me. But New York has now become the retirement home for reggae artists. Rockwell, yeah.
Man,
no.
Did I say it? Did I say it?
I call it
I call it like
one of the retirees.
I call it. Well, that's how they kind of placed South Florida back in the day.
I agree.
That you know is just kind of has been our veteran artists, our pass through place for South Florida. But I really think that the Mecca has shifted south. Whether it's for weather, whether it's for proximity to Jamaica, whatever the reason, you can find 10 top people in their respective business. Here in South Florida, you can find 10 top-notch keyboardists, 10 top-notch drummers, 10 top-notch basses, lead gits, vocalists here in South Florida, residing here in South Florida, even though some of them still have a Jamaica mailing address, but them Jim Screech and live here, but that's a different sort. I digress. Anyhow.
No. Hit and run.
She wasn't ready.
But, you know, hopefully during the course of this conversation, we look at what it takes to as we would probably call it, boss an artist. I think there are many pieces to that puzzle, and some of them are seriously missing here in South Florida.
Crazy. And just to piggyback off what you're saying, that's exactly why we have the show going on right now, because the talent is there. It's obvious. You know what I mean? You see it every day just based on the live shows that you go and see, the studios you go to for production, and not only that, the fact that on any given day you're going on the road, you're going to see one of the biggest names in either reggae or some other genre coming here. It's not just for the vacation, it's because they come here to partake in the excellent musicianship that we have. J-Vibe, you don't drink the thing? Come on, make sure I say you're loosen up.
Almost.
Okay.
J-Vibe, you're talking.
I mean, it's almost
talk to J-Vibe.
Alright, he's ready now.
All right.
Artists come to you for your expertise. You work your magic, you give them a masterpiece, and they go. What else is missing from that formula to break an artist, that is?
Well, before we reach, before we get there.
I know the fans are blowing you up.
Thanks. Thank you.
Careful.
Homegrown.
Careful.
All right. So let's say this, because I would like to kind of piggyback off of what Rockwell and Yendi was saying as well. To me, from my experiences doing this thing, Miami is not considered to be an industry state. Let's say Florida, whole of Florida. Miami is not considered to be an industry state. When I say industry, I mean LA, New York, Nashville, Atlanta, even Chicago, we can say. Yes, everybody comes down here to party and, you know, nightlife and some of these things, and I don't think Miami is really taken serious, even though we have all the talent in any part of the genre, whether it be making the music, playing the music, writing the music, whatever, business side of things, it doesn't matter. Miami has never been, I think, taken serious, and that's why people, when they come to me, okay, I do good work, all right, we do a song, and then they leave here and feel like they have to go to one of the industry cities to break. Because one, radio has a lot to do with it. Not only that, but promo and marketing and all of these things play a big role in the industry cities. Versus you come here and all the bigwigs come down here for, and the bigwigs come down and they, all right, fine, they're doing their thing. They see a new artist, oh yeah, he's good, they're good. And that's it.
Right.
Are you playing on radio? Are you playing on iHeart? No. Where is iHeart based? California and New York. Right? Your main stations. Where are you being marketed? Okay. You're seen all over the streets in Miami.
Right.
But I don't live here. I live in LA. I have a big corner office in Capitol Records building.
Wow.
In LA. I don't see you there. You're not coming to see me. So, and then here now, this is the complacency where Yendi touched on, where artists feel like it doesn't matter, but it does. I don't think a lot of the artists are doing their job, whereas the grind, you grind in the streets, it's fine.
Well, let me ask you this though, J-Vibe. With regards to what you're saying right now, since let's say California is a metropolis when it comes to this whole music thing, not reggae, music in general, and we're talking about breaking the artists here in South Florida. So we're going to be looking at a mass exodus then if people really want to be, if they want to break into the business. Do they pack up and go to California?
No.
Or do we have to figure out a way how we're going to bring California? When I say bring California, I mean
No,
metaphorically speaking.
Because now
To South Florida.
because now every industry now is being run by social media.
Right.
Right? If you're not a star on social media, then
True.
nobody don't know you. And that's one of the things that every label, every exec, they're gonna look at that first. They want to know how many followers you have,
Right.
how many people come out to see your shows. All of these things. Are you selling merchandise? What are you doing? And to start, you have to start at home.
Right.
You lock home, then you can bring yourself abroad. Now you have a package
Right.
to bring to the table.
Well, I'll tell you this. I have an episode coming up with an artist who's based in California. Jamaican artist, not necessarily doing reggae. Do they have a reggae background? Yes. Based on what was told to me, that the material that's going to be coming out is going to be reggae. But thus far, they did a song that's kind of like an EDM joint. And talking about, there's a video for it. So between streams from Spotify and the videos, we're talking about millions of streams, millions of downloads on Spotify. However, it don't even translate to their social media. So Zemroy, and the reason why I call upon you for this question pretty much is this: I do know a lot of the young acts gravitate toward you, musician wise and artist wise. Conversation wise, what is it that you deem or you hear from them that they're doing wrong that's not translating into, be it the social media clicks, the social media likes, or the ultimate goal, which is breaking as an artist?
I tell you what, and I'm glad that you asked at that point in this forum here, because the answer to that lies with what everybody has said before. Yendi touched on something very, very important.
Right.
Introvert versus extrovert as an artist. A lot of these artists, they want to get out there. They don't know how. Not everybody is born that kind of animal where they're going to just chew up on the rest of the forest, the rest of the jungle to get to it.
Right.
So I won't call any names right now, but there are a few names that are at the top of the reggae genre right now that were right here in South Florida. They had to move from South Florida to break out, and now they're at the top of the food chain.
So what is it about South Florida why they couldn't achieve it
I'm
here?
getting there. So I just touched what Yendi said. No. Sir Rockwell and J-Vibe touched on two separate points that were interconnected, serious points, which also has something to do with what Yendi said.
Right.
Perception is a serious thing. And what Rockwell said about South Florida being perceived in the past as the retirement state.
Right.
And Jason saying that it's not perceived as a industry mecca like New York is, like LA is with Hollywood. as a staple in there, Nashville, and all these places.
Right.
Those 2 points connect because if people don't see us here as the answer, you become what you call a bottler then, and what I would refer to as a bottler. They come here, they bottle the product here, but they don't sell it here. There are 4 places, there are 3 places on planet Earth that has in excess of 1 million Jamaicans. Outside of, obviously outside of Jamaica. The UK,
Right.
New York, and South Florida.
Right.
The UK has its own subgenre, lovers rock. Big.
Big up out the
Exactly. New York goes without saying. South Florida, however, every major project that you can think of touch South Florida. We, outside of Jamaica, we fly out the most musicians to tour, the most DJs to play at parties outside. So, what is the reason? A number of things. A combination of things, not just one thing. First, South Florida from long time wasn't perceived as really in a Jamaica what we call foreign. Say, really, you go left and go foreign. No, it too near.
Right.
It doesn't snow here. It looked too much like Jamaica. So,
Stuck in their ways.
you understand? Real foreigner New York, real foreigner elsewhere.
Right.
So that perception was stuck there a long time. And it seeped down into the thing. No, Rockwell, I really have to call the name them now, don't it?
If you didn't, that
Yeah.
was.
Taurus was right here. Amazing artist. He was right here. I forgot. Etana,
Yep.
Bling Dog,
Yep.
Ding Dong, Pressure Bus Pipe, Anthony Cruz. They were right here, trying. Correct?
Wow.
And yet they had to exit.
He's left.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, I say all of that to come back to what you asked me earlier on, with the young acts. They have to have a sense of the history, the beast that they are battling here in South Florida. In order to defeat it, you can't defeat your enemy unless you have an idea.
Right.
What your enemy is.
Right.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs to come together, unite, and form an official structure. We're already fighting an uphill battle because we don't have a mainstream radio like New York.
Right.
Have FM, them have a FM station that playing reggae all day. Major
Right,
FM
right.
that plays reggae all day. Jamaica goes without saying. England, the same thing.
Right.
We tour all over the world, and we've witnessed it. But here in South Florida, what do? We sit and wait, or we get together and form a structure. or we just become statistics. This is where Rockwell take over.
You know what? Don't touch him yet. We're gonna get back to it. All right. We'll be right back with the panel. Keep it moving. Keep it grooving. It is homegrown.
Sent from heaven, sent from heaven. Now you can wait your whole life wondering when it's gonna come or where it's been. You may have got your heart broken a few times in the past. It never lasts as strong as it used to. It don't feel as good as it used to before. And all the things you used to say, things you used to do, went right out the door. Ooh, no more will you be the one that's to tell everyone around you. But you know they've heard it all before. What more can you say? When love won't let you walk away, just you can't help who you love, and you find yourself giving it all away when you think you're enough. Ooh, trying to change what they feel from what's been. You may have put your whole life into a man, loving what you thought it could have been. Oh, notice when you change and you don't feel as good as you used to before. And everything you used to say, everything you used to do went right out the door. Ooh, no more will you be the one. That's what you tell everyone around you, but you know they've heard it all before. What more can you say when love won't let you walk away and it can't help who it loves, and you find yourself giving it all away when you think you're in love? 'Cause I wanna be the one who believes in your heart is sent from heaven. There's a piece of me who leaves when you're gone because you're sent from heaven. I wanna be the one who you believe in your heart is sent from heaven. There's a piece of me who leaves when you're gone because you're sent from heaven. Everybody say I wanna be the one you love. I wanna be sent. Everybody say I wanna be the one you trust. I wanna be sent. Everybody say I wanna be the one you need. I wanna be sent.
Yes. And that one is Keisha Cole with a song called Heaven Sent. You know what I mean? I know we share the same last name, but we from the South. Keisha, girl. Anyways. She's adopted anyway. But,
Wow.
Okay.
that one is Sent from Heaven. That's produced by J-Vibe. J-Vibe, you were a part of this multi-platinum single, right? What efforts, and I'm going straight into it, were employed that made this a successful song that's not being employed by our local talents? And when I say local talents, I do not want us for a minute think of it as just people without finances behind them thing, because local people have money too.
Of course.
But
Of course.
what is it that
Money don't have
is
anything
not-
to do with this
No?
part of it.
Okay.
How that was placed
Mm-hmm.
then is we had a manager,
right?
right? Now the manager she's not from here, but she was living here.
But she's from one of them cities you
She's
mentioned,
from
right?
New York,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
So I'm gonna let you.
you know, from New York, and you know that's in the business, and you know knows people that are also in the business, that are good friends, you know. So that's how that happened. I mean, that's, you know, not saying that you have to go that route,
Right.
because there are,
Agreed.
especially nowadays, there are so many different ways to be heard. Where, I mean, we could be right here making beats, put it up online, and have 1.2 million followers
Right.
that hear it. And this time, you don't need a label. You can do your own thing. That's the beauty about social media. So, but it's still not gonna bust in Miami. Why? Radio Rockwell.
Whoa, Rockwell, are you
Okay.
Are you the next person?
Unleash, all right.
Wow.
Call 911, brother.
But no, but seriously, because all right, there's a question to it, because like what Zemroy said, there are FM mainstream stations that
Right.
play reggae. Hot 105 don't count because the songs are not logged. From what I see, I look at my statements, and you would see the logs. You would see it come up where it say Miami, or like it. You know, when you're looking on your statements,
Publisher, please look into that.
publishing,
Right, sir?
right?
Hallelujah.
Well, no.
How do we say places like Hawaii have the three main stations in Hawaii are mainstream clear channel stations that play nothing but reggae. How come, or not how come, what has to be done in order for something like that to happen here? And it doesn't necessarily, I mean, I guess we're just speaking reggae in general.
Serious question, that.
As I think, no, not. I'm just asking because I don't know for one
Right.
how that works, and how would that work? Because that would be a way for for artists here to get somewhere.
That would be huge.
Okay. Now, all right. I'll tell you what. Since the dagger is pointing in that direction, all right. Sir Rockwell.
Dagger.
The dagger come your way. You've mentioned before that you receive in excess of 1,200 songs per week from artists.
Wow.
Right. Could be more by now. What percentage of those are good songs and should be making an impact?
Wow.
And for those that are, I don't expect exact metrics.
Curse. Are we allowed to curse on this?
You know, kind of artist
He went below the belt.
Yeah, that one there.
Hey,
That one there. No, that one there.
it's a rude awakening
I'm
for
just
some.
saying.
It's
I'm just
fair. It's
and,
fair.
and you're not gonna call the name, but and the metrics don't have to be precise. But also, as a DJ, where do you come in terms of the success or failure of those songs that you deem quality songs on your program?
All right. Let me try to be as concise as possible, but still touch on all the topics that came prior to this. First and foremost, let's address this issue of artists being in South Florida and leaving, which is a valid point. However, let's look at the true picture. They left from what and went to what?
Right.
Many left as individual artists trying to do it on their own and moved to Jamaica to a team.
To a team.
Understand, I personally believe if they had that same team in South Florida, they wouldn't have had to leave. So is it that they left South Florida to go to Jamaica to bus? Or they left South Florida not really playing the game the way the game should have been played, and when they went to Jamaica, they were playing the game the way the game should be playing, meaning you have a road manager, you have a business manager, you have a marketing manager, people who were responsible for various aspects of your career that knew what they were doing and were centered on that and left the artist to be an artist, to go into the studio, record a good song, know what the market requires. I mean, someone who has dealt with the charts over the years, I have spoken to many artists and say, them send me a song and I call them up about it and them say, boy, it's the wickedest song I have, because it's always the wickedest song that ever come out when you send it to you. Every tune. And I said to them, yeah, but on the album you have this other one, why you don't? No, this tune. But I'm looking at them and I say, you realize that charts are cyclic. Whether we like it or not, there are times where dancehall rule. Whether you want, even Berry sometimes struggle when it's just a dancehall time, when DJs rule.
Right.
And you have to understand the game, and you choosing to drop a Lovers Rock track during the height of a dancehall speed, you're shooting yourself in the foot. There's nothing you're going to do about it.
Right.
There's nothing. And this is where things like payola come in, because when you try to buck the system and force the system, then now you have to start forcing DJs, whether it's however you figure it out, whether you're buying them dinner, lunch, or breakfast, or paying, you now have to force it into, just forcing a round peg into a square hole, because the audience, which at the end of the day is the grand decider of all of this stuff. Right. They're not ready. They're in a dancehall mode. So you dropping a Lovers Rock track at that time, you're pushing a big rock uphill. So understanding what is going, looking at the charts in your area and understanding, if I'm a Lovers Rock artist, maybe me just cool for a little while. It's cyclic. It's going to come around. It's going to come around to your time, and timing is critical. But if you don't have that person in your camp that say, yo, Bridget, I tell you what, why don't we do studio work right now? Because it's really just not your time now. I could go in a studio and spend the next 3 months putting 3-4 songs or a EPK together. You want to drop the song now. And you're wondering why things are not working for you. Secondly, let's touch on this whole team thing.
Right.
At some point, you're going to recognize that this business is bigger than a one-man operation. If you don't realize it, you're in for problems. Unless you're a guru on social media, and I don't mean posting on Facebook, understanding what things like SEO is, understanding why you need to tag, understanding why you need to use certain tags. If you don't understand but that part of the game, you could have post till you're blue. Your family is going to love it. Your next door neighbor will like it, but you're not making any impact on the business. Because when somebody searches reggae, if you don't understand how, when them search reggae, how to make your artist or your song come up, you might as well have your kid. And oftentimes you say, boy, my daughter does my social media, that's fine. Right. They know to post, but they're not using social media to its max.
But that being said, Rockwell, may I answer this real quick? Interject. Based on what you're saying, the formula, the teamwork, the different divisions of your team.
Right.
Because here's the thing, a lot of people have team, and here's a problem with the team. I'll be artist up on the team. A lot of time, I'm have a team of 6 people, and 6 of them are artists. There's no managers in there. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Nobody making the right decision. But here's a question. So with that being said, does that mean, or does that imply that the successful artists in Jamaica, that's the measures that they're implementing?
Well, first of all, we are comparing apples to oranges when we measure success in Jamaica versus success in the diaspora.
Right.
Because, when I sit down with an artist, one of the first questions I ask is, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a recording artist? Right. Do you want to be a performing artist?
Right.
Do you want to be a touring artist? Because nowadays, it's 3 distinctly different animals. If you want to be a touring artist and you're not touring North America, you better have a plan how to impact Europe. Because a promoter in Europe is looking for something totally different than a promoter in North America. So you have to understand the game. And if you don't understand the game, nothing wrong with that. But you need to align yourself with people, even if it's on a consulting basis. Right. Even if you have somebody that charge you $125 an hour to sit down with you and your people and say, listen, here's what we'd like to achieve. See your $250 here. We're going to take 2 hours out of your time, explain how this thing works. Right. But what happens in South Florida, and here is where y'all should duck. What happens in South Florida is that people work on relationship. Them want to say you're the friend, and then you are supposed to take the place of the manager, the tour manager, the marketing person, because you and them are brethren. You do radio, and they want to operate on a brethren standpoint rather than on a business standpoint.
Right.
So they rely on the radio jock to play their song in rotation every day, but there's no business plan. There's no ad for the album.
Right.
There are no interviews. Let's not even talk about interviews and arriving on time or even making the interview when it's set up.
Well, I feel like I've heard this before.
Yeah. Well, we know each other too long. Yeah. No, but I mean, I'd like artists to understand the impact. When you have a radio jock post for 2 weeks that you're coming on for an interview and your fans log on and you no show.
Right.
Why should I invite you back? Why should I even expend the energy of trying to market your product when you don't have any respect for my time or my show? Not to mention your fans. I've had, I watch my numbers every morning. I've had artists slated to come on my show, and I have watched for that time slot when they're supposed to on. My numbers go up by 800, 1,000.
Right.
And then you no show.
Right.
But then you expect them to take their hard-earned money and download your track. You expect them to know a promoter and run to the promoter and say, listen, put Yendi on, because solid artists, when every time you log on to watch your artist and support your artist, they no show, they're late, they can't do an interview, them one answer you. These are all part of the whole package.
Right.
When I ask you about your album and I can describe your album more than you can describe your album, you're a waste of time to me. You're a waste of time. So if you don't have a manager that come back and say to you, hey, that was a weak interview. Let us work on your interviewing skills.
Right.
Because that's part of the package.
But that being said, though, Rockwell, here's the deal. A lot of the successful artists, and again, maybe it goes to the team, maybe it goes to how they do it, don't accomplish and don't live up to some of those things that you're talking about.
And you're absolutely right. But accomplished artists, again, that term accomplished is relative. What do you mean accomplish? Accomplish that they were fortunate enough at a point to be on top of the game. But when you look at the audience response to them, no, when you put them on a show, when a promoter headlines them and the show flop, then that's the proof in the pudding. Maybe you were a hot artist 2017, but I tell you this game changes fast.
Well. That being said, and I guess people are asking questions here. What do we consider a good song? It varies. Sometimes there's good concepts. It doesn't turn into good songs. I had a conversation with somebody I knew before. Wicked artist, great songs written, melodies, everything's great. And to me, they never turned into a great song because they never took them to the right places, invested in themselves, get the right producers to work with it. It's a scenario where you have the talent, but you're half-assing the product.
Exactly.
So that's my view of what a good song is or a good song is not. I don't, the question's being asked. Zemroy, what's a good song?
Well, one of the misconceptions of people have about a good song, they correlate good song to hit song.
Yep.
Alright, a good song is a song that right across the board, everybody, the first time you hear a good song, you will always remember where you were, what you were doing, and who you were doing it with. When you hear a good song, a hit song, however, you can hammer a song, repetition and rotation can create a hit song out of foolishness,
Programming.
If you say CBA,
Low Trinidad, James.
thank you, which is ABC backwards. If you say CBA 1,000 times and say it 1,000 days straight, everybody's going to start saying it. So a hit song is not necessarily a good song, but guess what? Another dynamic that good songs have in common is timelessness.
Right.
A hit song will hit this year and will be played everywhere this year. A good song will be played 50 years from now.
Wow. Ain't that the truth? I guess that's what differentiates a hit from a classic. The other thing is this, and with that being said, I'm going to go back to you, Rockwell. Do we still have the capability in 2018 for a DJ to break an artist?
Absolutely.
Is there any such thing as a DJ still having the capability to break an artist?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. But we have to understand that, again, we're doing apples and oranges. We cannot compare markets, and we can't compare genres. And by that I mean, it's much easier for an R&B artist to make it, because there are a million stations in the US playing R&B music.
In the US, you mean?
In the US.
Okay.
Yes. Let's talk about here.
The bar is higher too, so I don't know, because
Well, wait a minute now. Let's talk about it from a radio standpoint. If you combine the amount of outlets for R&B and put in repetition. So if you have 1,000 R&B stations and you only take 100, but 100 of them are playing a song in rotation.
right.
I'm going to go out on a limb. If you go on most of these top R&B/pop stations, they have max maybe 25 songs in rotation. Out of those 25 songs, I dare say there are 8 solid hits
Right.
out of those 25. But the rest of them are hits. Why? Because it's the only songs you're hearing rotation, whether you like it or not. If you listen to that station,
Repetition.
you are going to hear that song sometimes as often as 4 times in an hour. No exaggeration. I mean, I study radio, I listen to... you hear the same songs 4 times in an hour.
Right.
You have to be off of Mars if within 2 months you're not humming that in the shower or in the kitchen.
That's happened to me.
And the first time you heard it, you labeled it a stupid song or a bad
We be
song.
burning.
And
But you know all of the words.
But I know all the
but
words.
you know all the words.
Drew Hill, how deep is your love for me?
So if that's
Kelly,
the
don't hate
case,
on Drew Hill.
I love Drew
so
Hill. But
so let's look at the reggae market. Though. Let's look at South Florida reggae market. How many radio stations are there in South Florida?
How many radio stations?
How many radio shows? How many times in a day can a song be heard out of different outlets? 5?
Legal.
Exactly. No, I'm saying something that counts, because when you look
Right.
at
Yeah,
it,
it doesn't
spins, downloads, the whole
That are
how
on
many
actual
are
radio
reporting?
station that are on the actual radio dial. I only know of
No,
one.
but how many are reporting? Let's even go down. How many are reporting?
I only know of one.
Well, if you
but isn't that two different things though? In terms of if you're talking about what's being reported, then that's between you, your publisher, and
No.
But in terms of who's hearing it, what's breaking the song?
No.
Matters because we're talking about breaking.
Yeah, if you're talking about breaking an artist, no, there's a difference between you being popular and you being a successful artist, and I think this is where we are now.
Right. What is success?
What is success?
Right.
If success is making money from downloads or getting touring dates from it, then you have to get in the system. SoundScan has to pick you up.
Right.
Because any promoter worth their salt is not going to invest on a risky artist for a show unless it's them daughter or them son or them nephew them trying to give a blind. But they're looking for a return on their money. And the only way you can guarantee the return on your money is booking an artist that you feel the public is listening to and will pay money to come and see at a show.
Of course.
True.
So and this is what I'm saying, success is relative. Do you want to hear yourself on the radio? Or on outlets? Do you want to see yourself on charts, or do you want to make money from the business?
The rhetoric in that question is hilarious because guess what? I guarantee if you ask that question, some people choose the latter. You can pay people in revenue, you can pay people in hype. Sometimes hype is more important to some people.
I call it the free lunch. You can walk into Donna's and them say, "Oh, I know you and give you a free lunch."
But how long they gonna do that?
Thank you.
If a person has a strategy to turn hype into revenue.
But what does that take? We're going back to team again. Someone who understands the game. Because you can start off with hype, if that's part of your plan. If part of your plan is saturation, I just want my artist on every outlet. I just want people here. And then you have a plan to convert that market saturation to business now. To say, okay, let's motivate the listeners to go to downloads. Let's motivate listeners to hit up a certain promoter and say, listen, this is the artist we want. See, a lot of people don't understand what happens in the background for a lot of these artists that have made it. They just look at them and figure, say, the tune boss, but they don't understand the team, the work that has gone on, the negotiations, the meetings, the begging and pleading from a manager to say, we won't take money, just put him on the stage and let him prove that he can do it. They don't understand that.
I agree, but this is my problem. All of the above is common.
You get two. So
you're boss man.
Yeah, all of the above is common as far as I know with all these people who have been successful. They have a team assembled around them. However, coming back to the South Florida issue, I have the inside story on most of these acts. And the only thing for most of them that changed is time and the fact that they moved to Jamaica. Team was in place.
Team was in place, but
let's I
think that hold on. I think that's the issue right there. I think there's a lot of artists out there that don't know how to select the right people for their team. I think they're so caught up on the person's image or facade rather than what they can do for them as an artist, because what this person might be able to do for one artist might not be able to do it for that artist. So
however, what if, and I'm saying what if because of the information that I have, what if this whoever it is that's moving elsewhere to have success in their career had a team here? The team was doing the same thing that the team elsewhere is doing. It comes back to what we were talking about before. There's no structure here in South Florida that demands or commands a certain level of respect.
So are we sliding the blame from the artist to the infrastructure?
No. Everybody is to be blamed, and I'm glad. Yendi, I commend you for starting off this forum the way you did. Because we're all working for the artists,
Right.
We're all working for the artist. The artist flop, guess what? Everybody else lose. So the artist is the focal point of the whole thing, and everything is built around the artist. And then, you plan carefully, and then you execute with hopefully laser-like precision.
So let me ask you this, now, Zemroy. if everyone is working for the artist, who's working for the business?
Everybody.
Because they're well.
But the artist is the brand, so that is the business.
Okay, you punch the clock to go to the bank to work if you're a bank employee. Who do you punch the clock
I don't
for?
work for the artist, you know.
No, I'm just saying, for me,
The musician.
the musician, the songwriter,
The producer.
yes.
Right.
Who is the focal point? Who does everything point to when I'm writing a song? Somebody sings that song,
no,
right?
Okay. Yeah, but
The song-
the songwriters, the producers, the managers,
Right.
they all work for the artist.
But what
the
happens
radio
after
person,
that? No.
the radio person should be working for the business.
I agree.
Not
Which
for the artist.
which is where you have somebody on the team delegated to do
Focuses on that.
Delegate.
Yeah,
There you go.
Exactly.
Jason.
Right.
And this is
But-
what I'm talking about, because one of the things that you touched on, let us make a clear distinction between building a track for an artist and building rhythm. I am so tired of people that say, what do? I build beats.
Let it out.
Well, that's not a true producer.
Well, no. But that is the major influx in the business now. People who are accustomed to Fruity Loops and they I have Fruity Loops and now I have
So now we're
Pro
going to-
Tools. Now I've learned that. But
No, we're going down the road of quality assurance.
We gonna have a part two.
It's like we're
Yes.
going down the way right now.
But wait a second, we cannot dismiss that, because how do I, with 1,000 to 1,200 songs, how do I take a poorly produced track, and I mean talent, and play between Morgan Heritage
And Taurus
and
Riley.
Taurus Riley?
Well, here is where
I have had that issue
Here
happen.
is where you have this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, but
Alright, let me go with this hand because I never want to use my hand. So
Majority of stuff that is played on radio is that. Certain
You know,
most of those
so-
songs that you hear and you're like, what is this?
Thank you.
and you know,
So
Ladies
what do you want from
and
radio?
gentlemen, we'll come right back to that because I do have a question regarding that right now. We come into that 1 second. Now go away, keep it moving, keep it grooving. It is Homegrown.
If I was to tell you just how much I need you, would you come tonight? Or would you not believe me? Cause a love that easy never turns out right. I'm trying to change the rules, you deserve something good in your life. We waited for far too long, so come get your blessings tonight. Baby, won't you come over, love, so I can show you love. Promise I got enough to give you all that you need, baby. So many search to find love that's as good as mine. I will waste your time, so bring it all to me, baby. Ooh, bring it all to me. Baby, let me teach you, give you love instruction, show you what I know. We should take it easy, ain't no need to rush, no, baby, nice and slow. All this love I can give to you, I expect just a bit in return. You don't have to be perfect, love, as long as you're willing to learn. Baby, won't you come over, love, so I can show you love. Promise I got enough to give you all that you need, baby. So many search to find love that's as good as mine.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That one was Come Over. That one is Estelle from the album Shine. Love that album.
Boys
that
and
was
girls.
also produced by the man himself, Mr. J Vibe. Out there, big up yourself.
Boys and girls behave.
You don't have any songs besides J.
Piola. Listen.
Speaking of Piola.
Stop it.
Yeah.
What Jason was saying all ago regarding Piola. All right. At a big elephant in the room, right? Okay.
Not really.
All right.
Giraffe.
Fortunately, I can't say this about my friend Rockwell.
Right.
But it's a bad thing for the business when you're driving along and the layman can say, you know something? No matter how much money them pay that man there, he should not have played that song because obviously him get money for play it.
That's how I felt when I was driving to my gig in Miami and I heard them
Careful.
Trinidad James, and they were talking about, yo, wicked big hot tune, and I'm like, okay, this is not in my tip, this was paid. Trust me, that's how I felt.
No, hold on.
I have to say kudos to you, Naraka.
No. Before you give me kudos, let us clear up. There's a difference between, in radio, let's understand that there's a big difference between introducing an artist and putting an artist or putting a song in rotation. So I don't want to lump people, radio people, and say, boy, every time you hear a song that might be what I'd call a starter song, that automatically means that there is Piola involved.
Oh, sorry.
There are a lot of artists that I have no problems. They're starting out in the business, and I have no problems giving them an ear. I'll tell you this. I have been surprised on many occasions when I play a song that I would consider basic. And listeners call me and say, not a bad song. I like the lyrical content, I like the phrasing, I like their tone, whatever the case may be. And for that reason, I play it a little longer. But understand that we should all have standards. Personally, I am not dropping my standard for anyone.
And you're doing it, what you're doing benefits all of us, you know.
But that is the goal. When I talk to them and people say, boy, I hear you play it once and you don't play it again, I have no problem saying, listen, production. Work on your production. Listen to this versus this Taurus Riley song or this Morgan Heritage, because this is your competition. That has nothing to do with me.
Right.
It's a listening audience.
Are those the standard bearers in the industry?
Well.
And I say that to say they got whack songs too.
Absolutely.
I'm a big fan of Morgan Heritage. I'm a big fan of.
Did you just say that?
Wait a second.
I'm a huge fan of Morgan.
Let it go. He is not finished yet. I noticed.
I'm a huge fan of a lot of those artists. But the reality of it is this: they do make whack songs too. And again, I said whack. I didn't say bad because we talked about good song versus bad song.
Whack
good song
bad.
quality, whatever the case. Whack is it ain't right. It's just not a hit. It's getting played because.
Hold on a second.
All right, you know what?
Hold up.
The songwriting no right.
One second.
Don't mistake it because there's three albums out right now that ain't cutting it for me. And they getting a lot of love.
Hold on. Let me ask Jason and Zemroy from a producer's standpoint.
Right.
Has there ever been a situation where you have an established artist with a certain level that comes to you and say, why? I know this is kind of out of my wheelhouse, but I want to try this totally different concept that is kind of against the grain of what they normally would put out. But because they just want to try something, a different thing, and you go with it.
All the time.
No.
I don't think that's necessarily whacked. I think that everybody's entitled.
No, but that's not what I mean when I said whack. That's not what I mean when I said whack.
It's two different things. You're talking about
just an all-out
product. You're talking about
experiment. Because here's the thing: you can have a song that the production is impeccable, the musicianship is impeccable, the vocal quality is impeccable. It's just not a good song.
Absolutely.
This is true.
I agree.
But let's say this.
You're not catchy.
All right. We all know our stuff, right? To say what is a good song from what is a hit song, you can't. You never know.
I retract that statement. As far as
I'm gonna tell you why.
Right.
The public decides.
They don't look at it that
The
deep.
public decides what is
true
a hit song from what is not a hit song.
Right.
Keisha Cole hated Heaven Sent.
But I told her when she had called me, right?
But these are the things. Maxi Priest
in the
too.
wild world.
Right.
Maxi Priest.
I hear that a lot.
He did not want to record it.
But here's the thing: whether or not those songs became hits, they were great songs. So the truth is,
hold on.
some power songs have become hits.
To the public. Mm-hmm. To the public.
Yeah, Jason's talking about
I'm talking about the inside now.
Okay,
Because
gotcha.
when we're in the studio and Rocco, when the artists come to me and say, all right, you know, I want to try something completely different, out of the box, something I've never done before. Mm-hmm. All right, let's try it. That is what majority of artists are doing right now. Whatever they did yesterday, they don't want to do it today.
No, exactly.
Right? They're always searching for something new, something this different, whatever. Mm-hmm. They want to do that.
Yeah, because
are they evolving or are they moving with the trend?
No.
They're setting a trend. They're trying to set a trend.
Okay.
Right?
But how can you set a trend if you're not authentic?
No.
Jason, I'm seeing somebody says your voice is low.
I think it comes from an authentic standpoint when it comes in setting a trend. I think if you're not authentic with yourself, you're not going to create that.
Or if you don't have the proper people that are writing for
that
you,
too.
working
Well,
for you.
yes. I mean,
it
all works together. It just doesn't come with the artist. It comes with the entire full team.
True. I mean,
if everyone doesn't understand the vision of the artist and the direction and know the artist personally, the direction they want to take in their career or for that specific project, then it goes down.
True. And you've had circumstances where the success of an artist has been solely based on the fact that somebody took that vision away from them because their vision was whack.
Well, a lot of if most artists were in charge of their own careers, you would never hear the light.
You took the words out of my mouth, Jason, because what Yendi says is very, very valid, but it applies to the artist that has vision. There's a lot they know. Most artists, believe it or not, the brains behind it is somebody else.
Right.
Somebody else is seeing.
So true.
It's somebody else's vision.
Literally on the same song, because the project that they walked in with is not the project that they walked out with.
Yeah, that is true.
After the producer gets involved with it. So I mean, I have been fortunate enough to be the fly on the wall, to get many versions, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth of the same song. I mean, let's talk about a song that became an anthem. I have 8 versions of Omi's. Yep. 8 versions of that song.
That is what made that song? That's a perfect. That's a perfect. What made that and
repetition,
right?
No,
not just repetition. I disagree.
And hold on. For those people just joining us, somebody's asking what the topic is. We're pretty much talking about why does mainstream success elude our South Florida musicians? All right, despite the abundance of talent that we have here, we got the producers, we got the artists, we got the musicians, we got everything. We got 2 radio stations, but success eludes us. That's what the topic is about. And right now we have in studio, we have the lovely Yendi Songbird. She is a singer. Awesome talent. Make sure you go check her out. She have a big bad single out right about now. We got Sir Rockwell here. The man himself, rockthebox.net, over 42 stations syndicated. There's a reason for that. He knows what he's doing. We got Zemroy over there, who every average artist that want to be somebody has come through South Florida and stopped by his studio and said, Zemroy, please make me somebody, and he did it. J-Vibe over there, he's got the Grammys on the wall and the nominations and all that stuff to prove it. And J-Vibe, big 5 on. You ask for stuff like this.
Give him a 5 and want a 5. Give him a 5.
On air, because
you don't carry such small bills.
Hey, you have Cash App?
Oh, it's like that.
You could have just put your hands on.
I can give you Cash App.
But we've got the panel here. These are the right people to talk about this with. They've done it on the highest level. You guys work with Michael. No, that was Teddy Riley. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. We're gonna get back to you, Rockwell. Sorry to have interrupted you. Just had to answer that question for the masses.
No. I really want to dismiss this theory about you have to be a big artist to make it. I have artists in my rotation right now that don't live in South Florida, that are requested on a daily basis. And I've not just requested from South Florida from listeners, but from European artists. I have artists out of the Baltimore area that a promoter in the Netherlands reached out to me and said, "Boy, can you give me the link, because I love that song that's in your rotation." So, and they're a local sensation where they are, but they're not on the level that they would like to be. However, well received by the listening audience, because their production,
How come we don't have no local sensations here?
Because we do.
We have locals.
Tell me a local sensation.
We do. Christina Alicia.
Okay.
She comes off at the top. I mean, Christina Alicia is on rotation because great production.
Yep.
What is her name?
Yep.
Yendi.
But hold on. What I meant when I said local sensation, is pretty much
that boss.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Because I remember having a conversation with Gang one time, and he had mentioned saying, if you can't lock your city, your hometown, it's gonna be tough for you to lock somewhere else.
But hold on,
Who's locking to the point where they're getting that? I mean,
and that's so hard.
DJ Khaled.
Are they doing what is necessary outside of the music?
Can I say something?
DJ
real quick?
Khaled.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Every artist that works out here, and it probably was said already earlier in the conversation, but every artist that work and do their music and try to bust out, they eventually have to leave here. And I'm gonna tell you the number one reason why.
Yes.
It's because the Florida residents out here, they're followers. They're not leaders. There's a lot more followers, in my opinion, than leaders. I'm sorry for saying it, but it is what it is, because we want to follow the trend. We don't want to create our own trend. We had down south and bass music. How the hell Atlanta got that rep? Atlanta is the home of South for that.
Right.
But we were the one that started. We had Uncle Luke. We had freestyle. Yep. We were the ones that started bass music. But they're taking. They're the ones that are getting the rep for it. They're the ones that are getting the representation for it.
They're in industry city.
And I understand what Yendi is saying, but structure. No, this differs from the general perception where the reggae genre is concerned.
Exactly.
Because I know exactly what Yendi is talking about.
Hair no different than Jamaica. If anything better.
No. I'm talking about what she was referring to. Mm-hmm. In terms of Atlanta versus down here.
Right.
Now, in the hip hop R&B arena, so far is looked at as South Beach.
Right.
Vacation.
When I go overseas, I tell everybody I'm from Miami.
That's what they see. That
it's interesting that
it's South Beach. Do you understand?
Jason called a name, and we have to be careful when we tell other people's story, because we have to tell the full story.
Right.
When you call a Khaled, let's take Khaled from a radio standpoint before he became.
He found Fat Joe.
He had a brand.
Wait.
He had a brand.
He came out.
Wait a second.
Miami.
He was a brand before, though.
Let's understand.
As a DJ,
Let's understand that
Club
in
level.
my estimation, Khaled's success came from the support of the artists. Those he supported him back.
Right, exactly.
In what way?
So that when Khaled wanted to make a move, when Khaled wanted to make a radio move, these artists got together and told the radio station, "You want our music? Put Khaled there, because we supporting the radio jock. He's going to have all our music. If you want our music, you need to put."
But how did he get that?
And that's what the artist did.
How did he get
but
that?
Khaled was playing.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's stop now.
Structure.
So let's stop now. Let's break this down here.
DJ or artist, you have to bring that relationship.
When you email me a tune, and I look and I see 70 odd other people on that email list, you don't even personalize it and say, "I saw you last night at the garden." Say nothing to me, but you include me on this blanket email.
Yeah.
You don't touch base with me.
Yeah.
I play your song, and when you see me, you give me a question like, "Boy, Rockwell, I bet you don't even play my song. You don't even know. You don't even listen to my show."
That
to
is true.
know if I'm even playing your
That's
song
true
or not.
support.
So
I'm gonna give it-
you're
I'm gonna give
waiting
it
on me now. I'm not on your payroll. I'm not part of your team.
That is true.
But you're waiting on me to do the work for you. When I get 1,000 songs a week, what do I do? Whose payroll am I on?
I'm going to give you a inside, a bit of inside of how major labels do their radio.
Right.
Yes, there is a little slide, you know.
There's a discussion.
There's a little, little thing that goes on. Yeah, a little handshake. But majority of these of the people at the major labels that are in charge of radio,
PDs,
the PDs,
and yes,
actually go to the radio stations, go to the heads of whoever it is of whatever this radio said, Cox Media Group. Let's just say that, right? Whoever the head of Cox Media Group is, they go directly to the source, not email,
Right.
not then phone call and say, hey,
and set an appointment.
I'm coming in. I got some new stuff you need to hear.
Exactly.
Right?
No
No,
conversation.
they actually do the footwork. If that's all part of the grind.
How does Geronimo Jenkins, who doesn't have that connect, get to the CEO, get to the head of Cox?
How do you know
Well,
that?
you find a way. You start
do you-
with the
How do-
the
how do
janitor.
you
You
know
work your way up. You work your way up.
Goes back
You
to what
will
Rockwell
always
was saying.
find a way.
No,
Team.
no,
You'll
no.
find a way.
I am a social media head, and I'm gonna tell you this: if you don't find your butt on LinkedIn,
That's right.
okay?
That's where the
These
professionals
people
hang.
got their info on there. You go on LinkedIn, you go on all these social media. Hey, follow them, like them.
That's right.
I have these Morgan Heritage. Look on my picture of them every other day.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
So the networking works on social
they don't
media.
need words to
Understand
know
you
what's
have
going
to do
on.
the groundwork.
That's
You
the
have
part.
to
That's what
do
I'm
the
talking about.
Do the work. Do the
Understand.
groundwork.
As
exactly.
Rockwell is saying, like as a radio person, if I'm doing a rhythm
Appleton.
or whatever, a song or whatever it is, I have an artist, my artist, right?
What charge for the
So
advertising?
I want Rockwell to play my artist. I'm gonna go and visit Rockwell.
Right.
Right.
I'm gonna go and see him personally and shake his hand and say,
You're gonna create a
"Here,
relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
listen to this and tell me what you think."
okay, so Rockwell, I guess it comes right back around to you.
Stop acting like
We
you're
just played
sorry,
2
you're not.
multi-platinum songs, right? And what both of those artists have in common is the financial backing. Not only do they have a financial backing,
That's my
Keisha,
number
of
one
course,
issue.
was pretty much. This was her second album, which the first one did well. Estelle had, her necessary backings. What we're looking at is this. We're talking about the networking and so forth and so forth. Sounds all great in theory. So we're going to talk to the average Joe right now. Can the average Joe come and sit down with you and have a necessary conversation with you and know you are, for lack of a better word, a part of the team, and it's like, okay, you know what, Rockwell, my goal is I'm gonna break this artist.
Well. Let's understand. Can they? The short answer is yes.
Right.
But that does not necessarily mean that you have the product that is worthy of breaking. Let's clear that up.
Right.
Just because you have a conversation with it does not automatically mean that it's a goal. But I can say this: Zemroy has never sent me a tune without following it up with a card.
Right.
Sometimes I get the call and the email is sitting there 2-3 days because it gets lost. But I get a call, Rockwell, send you a thing, check it out, and it's concluded with, and let me know what you think.
Yeah. I will say that is true.
For y'all that don't know, radio does pick the singles, by the way.
Well, let's not even touch with
Really?
sending an album and say track 5
But
is the one we're
that's if
pushing.
you send them the album. What if you didn't? Because a lot of times none of
Well,
these people aren't sending out
Majority,
albums.
when the album is
It's
complete,
finally dropped.
When it
Exactly.
not before that, you'll
You get the listening
rent.
partner.
Right.
Right.
They go and rent circles,
Right.
hit factory, wherever in
Right.
the big studio,
Yes,
and then
sir.
invite all the PDs.
That's right.
All
That's
the
right.
main
Okay,
This
so
is what I'm talking about.
But what about Geronimo
all the
Jenkins?
pieces together?
Yes, man.
What about Geronimo Jenkins that ain't got all
Geronimo
the
Jenkins
This
can
brother
call
Geronimo
anybody.
Jenkins.
Are you his agent?
By the time you're finished, he's going to blow up. I mean, no. But understand that these are all critical parts of the business.
Right.
And I'll give you what happened to me last month. I got sent a song by a South Florida artist.
Right.
The implication in the email that it was his latest release. I listened to another station driving, and they're introducing a totally different song as that artist's latest release. So my question to you is,
what is your team doing?
How do you get a hit song across the board when you're sending out 4 or 5 different songs to four or 5 different radio stations?
Well, that's not your goal.
There's no plan.
Yeah.
Or your plan is to just send out everything.
No strategy.
Just saturate the radio.
The other thing is understanding that when you send out an album, if you're going to do a promo for an album, make a promo for an album. Make a choice. Either send out a single for the album or send out the album.
Right.
Can't do both.
But you can't send some people an album and some people a single. Because human nature is we are going to listen to the entire album and we're gravitating to the song that we feel more comfortable with, either for ourselves personally or based on our listening audience, if you know your listening audience. So figure out what you're doing. Because here in South Florida, I can guarantee you there are very few stations that across the board are playing South Florida artist music. I used it this morning via Honda in one accord.
I like that. I like that.
The EX.
Because one station has one song playing, they might even chart it. Then another station has another song that might be charting on that station.
Right.
So you need to figure out. And the thing that I have that a problem is, it's not that hard in South Florida because there's as far as influencers in South Florida, it might be 5 or 6. That meeting is really easy to have. And most of us are known with personal cell phone numbers, and not even no matter you have to go through email. We run into each other. You don't have the conversation. You don't know how to rep your product. You don't know how to package your product. You don't know how to market your product. The reason why New York still stands out and California still stands out is because people knock, and I'll go out there. I'll address the elephant in the room. People are like, this white reggae thing. But I'm going to tell you something. White reggae bands have it together.
Yeah,
they visit a radio station. They make sure that the message they want to get out is across the board. They handle it. And don't tell me, boys, I have met many reps for these bands that are wives and sisters. So don't tell me that it's taking your role in the business seriously and learning it. And they don't do that. They
refuse to learn their demographic.
And you know,
well, okay, cool.
You know,
go ahead.
You know what I have found to Rockwell, and you're correct. But this is what a lot of these people did, and the same goes for dancehall. What happened with dancehall in Japan? They got tired of the politics attached to our thing, and they went out and they created their own thing and controlled it and rule it. And then we're gonna turn around, even though that is the byproduct of our precious music. Now, a lot of people generally start bad-mouthing these people and say, but our thing that hold them and run it.
But they
Guess
cannot.
what?
They can't do that.
All right. I'm going to give you this example. There was a project that was launched recently. And the producer had set up a radio interview for the artists on the project. It's a compilation rhythm track. And an artist that lives here in South Florida decided not to come into the studio. And that artist's excuse was, them not really check for some of the people them on the rhythm. I never wanted to be in the same room with them. So
the ego is a hell of a thing.
as a radio person now, why do I spend my time on you? Because you're not serious about this.
You're not
business.
investing your time in yourself.
You're not serious
but
about
you want me
this.
to invest my time in
See,
you.
somebody said something about promote yourself.
Promote
You
yourself.
could promote yourself, but if you don't know your demographic, you could be promoting to ghosts.
And that happens a lot.
So, I mean, even if, like, say, for instance, the average artist that is a social media head and has, like, over 100,000 followers or over 50,000 followers, there's inactivity reports that you get on there.
Yep.
Right.
Pay attention to that. If you know that most of your following is coming from the US or most of your following is coming from the UK,
Target
then
market.
that is where you start hashtagging or
Right.
searching promoters, radio personalities, promoters, publishers, whatever it is that has to do with industry that's going to get you from point A to point B. And you talk to these people, I've built relationships with people in countries before I got there.
Right.
Folks.
You build those relationships with those people. And then guess what? When they see that, oh, well, this person got an amount of following. This person also shows that they have a lot of people listening to them in this area. And I'm here. So guess what? You tell them, hey, let's figure, how much will it cost? If it's not going to cost me, and if it is going to cost me, how much will it cost for me to set up a miniature tour out there,
right,
with the acts that you have? Use your social media to its full advantage. It's not just getting followers and likes.
Okay,
you got to pay attention.
And I think that's where
that's
where the misrepresentation comes in, because some people are, again, some do it for the loves and some do it for the likes, but a lot of people don't look at the likes and the followers on Instagram as pretty much the target that they're supposed to be going after. All they're in it for is like somebody speak about the millennials, whatever hormones they get from seeing that like. My thing pretty much is, when it comes to, and this goes to everybody in the
room.
But
it's not a like. It's where the like is coming from.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's your view on it, because you have actually analyzed the situation. Right. That's you. A lot of people are not. A lot of people it ends at the like. And getting this, 1 like to 2. Go ahead,
and check this. What Yendi just alluded to a while ago. Yendi is a toured act.
Right.
An experienced act. And somebody who is very literate. Apparently with social media and marketing.
Yep.
Come back to what Rockwell said. If Yendi is 5 people in one, she's wearing 5 hats in what she just described.
It's stressful.
Then there's another act who doesn't know how to do anything.
5 people in one?
Another artist. Come on now.
Yo, you know, so the first episode of my podcast is mental health. All right, there's this lady.
My goodness, no.
Listen. I will be the first to say I got multiple accents, which is
and she's used 3 of them tonight.
Right. But not most artists not as fortunate as Yendi to be so cerebral and know how to do all of these things.
And I still
it comes back to what Rockwell said. If you don't know all of that, make sure you have a team.
Right.
Somebody who knows marketing, the intricacies of social media, and
someone who will invest in the team too. Because the thing is, you could have a team, but you know them.
They ain't doing
nothing.
No gas.
If you ain't gassing out
and
any money,
that's what we're
you gotta wait
skating around.
Forever.
That's what we're skating around a lot of times. Pretty much is. It comes back down to the investment. It comes back down to the investor. A lot of artists that have made it have had an investor. Now here's the thing, and Yendi, again, you're a touring artist. You've seen it. I remember when my band and I were out there. We were doing things that the local bands were looking at like, doing that. We learned it because most of our the bands that we were playing with were, for lack of rock bands, the white bands. They merched a lot. So we made a lot more money off our merching than we did off of getting paid to play shows. That's because we saw that, we adapted that, right? It's the same thing you're saying. You're out on the road, you see this, you learn from other people. Some people feel like that's their thing, this is our thing. You know what I mean? I'm going to do mine, you're do yours. If you can open up your eyes and open up your mind and embrace something else that leads to success, then failure is where you shall be.
Right, you can't be stuck in one place. You got to move around when you need to.
Before we get out of here, I want to. There's another part that we are missing as far as this whole bus concept.
Right.
You cannot, with the exception of having a mega tune, and at that point you would have bus already. You can't drop a song every 6 months.
Oh God.
And expect a radio jock to keep you alive during that 6 month period and play the one song, especially if that song has a little buzz on it. Now you have an opportunity to capitalize on it and move forward. But we don't have anything to work with for maybe a year.
But what makes an artist drop a song every 6 months? Or every week? What makes an artist drop a song every week?
Because they have no clue what they're doing.
Exactly.
Ignorance.
Bottom line.
Ignorance.
Bottom line. Yeah. No. Hold on now. Let us understand though, there are some artists that are excellent at doing that. And it works for them. The first person that comes to mind for me is Vegas. Vegas can drop a song every 3 weeks. But his fans have been groomed for that, and they are willing to accept that.
Anticipation.
That's his formula.
You have to know how to build that
That's cool for Vegas because he has figured out what works for Vegas.
And when you mention that, he's the only name we mention when somebody say who would drop a song like every month.
It works for him.
and it worked.
No, here's a question. And
But
I
if
say
you
this
notice
because I'm
what
not hearing
Vegas
these songs.
drops, he doesn't drop the same type
Are
of
these
song.
songs good? Or are they being supported because he has relationships?
Vegas doesn't do wax songs.
No, yeah.
Mr. Vegas doesn't do wax songs.
Yeah. But what he has mastered is covering all the various aspects of the music. So he'll give you a gospel, he'll give you a dancehall, he'll give you a lovers rock.
Soca.
He has figured that out.
Yeah, man.
So kudos to him for figuring that out. But what works for Vegas don't work for everybody else.
I agree.
So you have to understand
100, yeah.
that for a radio person to work a song, unless it's an overnight hit, God bless if you get that song at the first time everybody hear it, it's just a boom tune. Those are few and far between. And I tell you, with that comes a curse. Because a huge song is a very hard thing to follow up on.
I agree.
So
we won't call it a name.
All right. Well, all right. That being said, Chronix, for example, and I'm gonna toss that name out there because it's the biggest thing out.
He is awesome.
One of my favorite acts, primarily because I've never heard of bad. And let me. I'm gonna stop using the word bad.
No.
I've never heard a Chronix song that I didn't like.
Okay.
I'm not saying he hasn't made them. They haven't made their way into my iPod.
Right. Okay.
All right. So, and you see a whole 9% iPod, my phone. But Chronix being, he's put out consistently great work. But I also often hear that it's not just the music, it's the resources behind him. Now, the question is not necessarily regarding Chronix, but I just use them as an example. All right. But for music in general, what is your opinion on the fact that without those resources, he would not be at the place that he is?
All right. Let me answer that. The Chronix has a great team. Okay. Let's forget about Chris Blackwell's and all of that came into the picture.
How can you forget about that?
We have to because it was he helped boost the career and all of this.
Right.
But you can't teach him
What he
to
has.
say
Yeah.
in an interview and all of these things.
Right.
Now, Chronix himself comes from a very intelligent family in itself. So, I completely lost my train of thought
Well, let me
because
thank
the
Uncle
12-year-old.
Uncle Jay.
The opportunity here
Let me see.
Because I was praying it wasn't gonna happen.
It's great.
Let me save you there, though, Jason.
But
Empty cheers.
So,
to that one.
let me save you on that, Jason. I don't think we can discuss a Chronix and not factor in all the things that made Chronix in that talent, putting in the work. Because remember
Yes,
these,
yes.
But also understand, Chronix is coming from outer school of music. There
not
is
only that. Remember, he's not only school of music,
but with people like
that
Ebo
were
and okay
in it.
So
he grew up around it.
So let us understand.
So he was groomed.
Okay. So if you're going to say what is the definition of success, then you have to factor in a little luck.
And now,
Because the partnership with Chris Blackwell is integral. We are, I hate to say it, folks, we are wagonists. Anyone that made it to the Late Show, we would have been flying their flag. Let's face it.
Don't
I don't know
apologize.
about that.
No,
You understand?
don't apologize.
Anyone that
Don't apologize.
made it to the Late
I
Show,
don't know.
that was a platform like no other. Even if it didn't matter in the US market, it mattered to us. We automatically locked on to Chronix, the mere fact that he got on the Late Show.
Yeah, but that was that was long after he, and that's what I mean when I say he's been doing his
no,
thing.
but hold on now. But Chronix was a name in Jamaica.
No.
Internationally.
No.
Chronix
Internationally.
international from before-
He was
from
international first.
No. He was getting international work.
Well, you know what? Let me ask
He
this
was
question.
getting
Let me ask this question.
international work, but he got the blessing.
Let me ask this
Was
question.
that night?
Because me personally, I found out about Chronix on the international route.
Yep.
Before Jamaica.
But we all know that
Yeah, but
the
that
acceptance
has to
from
happen.
Europe and North America. This is what goes back to what I said initially about understanding a market. Where did they send him?
Does that sound familiar to you?
Where did they send him?
No. Who, which other artists you know, big like Chronics? Well, bigger than Chronics.
Bob Marley.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Same journey.
Well, that's how we are. We're as a people, we're embracing the
just like Rockwell say. We're all Wagonese.
Yeah, true.
Both him and Bob Marley, they were accepted worldwide first before Jamaica.
Before Jamaica, actually. I mean, you go down to Bulwaki and stuff, and
exactly.
And that's another conversation of
that's episode 2. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. We talk about Chronics, for example, and we did talk about because right now we're talking about the grind and how to get there. And we talk about Chronics and we talk about his grind. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I don't know anything about Chronic's grind, and most people that I've spoken to don't know anything about Chronic's grind either. I'm not saying it's an overnight sensation, but he dropped a hit. I heard the hit. And I started hearing hit after hit after hit. I'm gonna drop some.
It's called the 10-year overnight success.
Because here's I give you a perfect example right now. Protege, right? Protege shot right now. But I have seen Protege's grind. So right now I can say to you, man, he done did this. He went through whatever. Not to knock Chronics, but we always we champion the cause by using him as the flag bearer. Right. But truth be told, I don't know anything about his grind.
G Code. I'm gonna just put this out there, and you guys tell me if I'm correct or not. Mm-hmm. Is it easier to bust in Jamaica because Manure Bridging will work with Unzip? Because everything is bridging.
Well,
versus
or bridging
checks.
Or bridging with a check.
Checks.
However you want to put it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons why I feel like majority of artists that leave here and go back to wherever they're going, if Jamaica, New York, wherever, doesn't matter. Because I feel it's easier to bust.
It's 125 times easier. You know why?
But bust how?
Because $1 is 125 Jamaican dollars.
All right, Rockwell, check this out.
That's what makes it easy. In Jamaica, your dollar go farther away.
If you're playing on Jamaican mainstream, you're good. Why? Because who else is listening to Jamaican radio? Everybody else.
So the world sees
everybody else is watching.
From Jamaica.
I believe cream always rises to the top, and you can force out.
But I mean, you have to start somewhere.
They tried as they
have to start somewhere,
could with Gully Bop, you know. They tried as they could with Gully Bop.
But Gully Bop
was a fad.
But that's what I'm saying.
But he still hit.
The political climate was a little itchy, and we needed some harmless ignorant.
That's okay.
Gully Bop and love and hip
15
hop
minutes is good enough. For some people, most people.
Success is relative.
Yeah.
Success is relative.
I'm not a hater, but William hung hit. But you know, when Jesus say
we're getting to that time.
Oh, time almost up.
No man, go on. We can hear you.
Where are you more likely to get a work in a motor factory, South Florida or Detroit?
Detroit.
Well, depends if
for the same
Trump
reason.
Is still in business.
For the same reason, big question.
The demands of hiring.
Same reason. Yeah. Jamaica.
Well, it's not the industry.
Exactly.
You kind of know where you're
the motor
supposed to
industry.
be.
All right, so it comes back to the next question now, which is this: Jamaica being, because this is a conversation that we've had a lot between artists and just lovers of the music. Jamaica being 560 miles thereabout from the U.S. Is that a good thing or a bad thing from the standpoint of people assume that being that you're in South Florida would have been a good thing because you're right by Jamaica? To me, I think it's a negative thing because what happens is people are paying attention here to what's being paid in Jamaica. And from my experience, what's being played in Jamaica a lot is what's being paid to play in Jamaica. How do I've seen it myself.
Well,
I've been to Jamaica promoting stuff before.
All right.
And see it.
You thought Paola was the elephant in the room. I'm going to address what I think is the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a generation where radio, boss artists.
Mm-hmm.
When you have entities that don't have radio people, but people on radio.
Right.
I'm not disrespecting anyone, but
true that.
Brokerage radio allows people who want to do radio but don't understand the business of radio And that's the majority of South Florida radio. It's people who don't understand that rotation works.
I agree with you 100%.
Everybody want everything free too, you know.
So, but that's exactly my point. There is no central place.
They don't want to invest in themselves.
I never got that though.
How do you want someone to invest into
you don't want to invest
if
in
you don't
yourself.
want to invest into yourself?
But
I had to take myself out of another country, earn money, and not have high expenses so I could save money just to release my single. It's only a single,
Okay.
and I haven't even done anything for it.
So you have an album now, Yendi.
No, coming.
No, I'm saying you as an artist, you have an album
Okay.
coming out.
All right.
And you are relying on favors. But you show up at the club 3 times a week in a brand new outfit. Wearing I'm going to talk the thing like I see it. You're buying bottles.
There's most people
You're buying bottles on a Sunday night
and
at $100 a bottle, but you don't have the budget to put an ad campaign together.
And that is and listen,
Well,
and that
where are
is
your
where
priorities?
and that is where I said.
But then the radio person is
hold on,
expected to defend the
and that
business.
is where I said that a lot of artists, they fall within this facade. They don't want to be knowledgeable. They don't want to know. Yeah. They don't want to do all the homework. That's the problem.
They would rather floss.
Until you exactly
show off.
Exactly.
Because the optics is what's important.
It's a facade that's more important. They're living in a dream. They're not living the dream. They're living in a dream. They're not living the dream.
Those that are living in the dream.
No. So here's the deal. So Zimmer,
can I borrow that? Yes.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
No, hold on. Wait. Well, hold on, real quick. Mm-hmm. Fiverr did everything for my single, and I spent under $100 on Fiverr.
Fiverr did
my photo shoot cost more than how much I spent to actually do everything for my single on Fiverr and TuneCore.
Wow. Big up Fiverr. They've done good work for me. Yeah. Can't knock them.
Know the loopholes. Just like Donald Trump know the loopholes. Know the loopholes in this industry.
You went there?
I sure said his nasty ass name, but it's
the views of Yendi Songbird does not necessarily represent those of Homegrown and its affiliates.
Nor Rock the Box.
No, Rock the Box.
Trust me.
RJ Vibe.
No, RJ Vibe Productions. No, here's the deal.
But on the real, we have to understand, like Yendi said, it's your priorities or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
Because
find somebody
I was on a show last week and I brought this up, but a lot of artists use this payola thing as a scapegoat, and I tell them stop it. Michael Jackson's very last album. Yeah, he was Michael Jackson. I'm sure he had some connections.
Big up J.
But he bought ads for it. You listen to mainstream radio and there are ads running for the album. Michael Jackson's like McDonald's or Exxon or Mobil. I mean, it's a household name, but he still had to put marketing behind the album. Of course, not sure. Why do you think that radio is this automatic extension? And then, when you talk to them about marketing their album, understand this. If there are 2 ad breaks in every hour for the average radio station, even if your song doesn't get played, that ad has to run if you buy an ad. So, by default, it's almost like getting your song played twice in that hour.
Rockwell, you give it too much.
No, hold on.
That's for the book. Rockwell. The book.
Yeah. So let them buy your book, brother.
Yeah, the book.
but I'm serious.
How to Make It by Sir Rockwell.
So when you decide that you're gonna hide behind this thing about payola. I don't do payola, I don't pay for pay.
You're lying to yourself.
I'm gonna thank you. You're fooling yourself and you're flopping yourself.
A lot of people are disillusioned as to what payola is.
I won't care more about your project than you care about your project.
Listen,
why should you?
Listen, and another thing, because it's not easy for a lot of people. For myself, I had to have a 9-to-5 or whatever it is I had to do to be able to take care of everyday needs. Right. But at the same token, one day I had a downfall. One day I just had a breakdown and I was like, okay, you know what? I went to my landlord. I said, have the apartment back. I went to my car place. I said, have the car back.
Right.
And I went on my knees and prayed for 2-3 months and said, Lord, give me a job out of this country because there is more than just Florida and the U.S.
Right.
And 3-4 months later, I got a job out of the country, and it exposed me to people that put me in numbers that I cannot even understand, dog. When I'm sitting next to a 42-year-old woman that owns her own business in Asian, she tells me she tips out $12,000 US to a waiter. That is that is not normal in Miami every day. You understand what I'm saying? So there's more than what we see to the eye. But you have to be willing to sacrifice something to get sacrificed. I was lucky enough to be in my age at this point and don't have a kid and not married. But if I had a kid and I was married, I'd be like my sister that's going and traveling the world and still doing what she want to do. You have to choose between the two. If you're working a 9 to 5 and you know that your job like you to work 10 hours, that don't fit within what you want to do with your music. So you have to choose what is more than what, and set up a plan. Save up your money so you can transition accordingly.
Dropping jewels.
When you and there isn't a South Florida night spot that I am not familiar with. And trust me, it's not just me. This is a conversation with many radio people. When Zemroy and I and Jason get together and roll through. When you are buying, when you are, as Jason put it, when you're flossing, and we sit there and watch you spend $300-400 a night on alcohol, and then come back to us. Then you come back. Thank you.
You know how many radio spins that is?
Thank you. You know
how many
they come to you and they give you a hard luck story.
Do stuff like that.
You understand me?
But you know something, and it that leads to a sad ending because in the broad spectrum of things, this is the reason why we have legends falling ill or dying. And there's no money to take care of their final expenses or
they haven't made it
because
it's just priorities are twisted.
Everybody decided.
Priorities are, you show up. I remember those shows back in the day when I first moved down to South Florida, and they had what's the park down in Pines? CB Smith Park. There was almost a show almost every month in CB Smith Park, and I can name some artists that I have never seen wear the same outfit to that and the same gold chain to a show. Thousands of dollars of linen, silk, and thousands of dollars in gold, but you cannot put a proper marketing package together. You come now and you tell me about, boy, you know, say things rough, Rockwell, so see what you can do for pressure. That's not how the business works.
And when you say no, them know your mother.
Of course. Yeah. But that's not how the business works.
But you know what the sad thing is they will put all that effort into someone else's vision, but won't put it into theirs.
Well, here's the deal.
That you have to believe in yourself.
That being said, because we're almost out of time, and for those people who have logged on, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. For those who have not had an opportunity to, we will not leave the video footage up on Facebook, but it will be on a podcast, Homegrown with G. Cole. You can check that out on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. It's everywhere. Homegrownwithgcole.com. Make sure you go check out Yendi Songbird stuff too. And listen, for all the people who are planning to quit your jobs tomorrow, right? So
hey, just make sure you have something for Julio.
I got nothing to do with that.
Because you know we can't trust Florida in that unemployment, dog.
No, I was gonna ask you if the opportunity presented itself, would you bounce? But you've already said that, so I'm not even gonna go there.
Yeah, I've already bounced. I'm only here for like a month, and I'm out of here.
Jump ship, the jump ship.
And you know, it's so crazy. I had some music mates that thought it was a bold move, and then I had some music mates that's like, dog.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Bouncing like that, you just disappear like that. I mean, why you can't? I don't believe it. I get a lot of artists out here that say, "I don't believe it." You can put Florida on the map. You can spend your time trying to put Florida on the map. Yeah.
Yo.
Okay. You wake up tomorrow, and you might not be alive, my nigga.
Yeah. That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? So you're gonna spend all your lifetime trying to put Florida, or you gonna put yourself on the map. Choose which one.
You gotta do what you gotta do for you.
Because when you put yourself on the map, then you putting Florida on the map.
Now but
you don't have to be here.
Where's the truth to this? Because I believe this. Everything it's sometimes we are afraid to do this because it's just not politically correct, and sometimes we don't want to ever blame the consumers. But how much of this is consumers have a fault to play, right? The fan base, we love you. Thank you so much for all the support you've given me over the years. I've been in venues before where people will say to me pretty much, yo, the thing turn up loud. I love it. Yo, that's my song. I've been coming out here every week and blah, blah, blah. Okay, the albums are right here, right? They're $10 a pop.
They don't want to pay it.
I don't have the $10, but you're at a bar. You done went to like 4. I don't have any cash on me. Don't worry about it. G. Cole came out here with his credit card.
Jack Daniels, $25 in South Beach. Boom.
So that's it. How much of it goes on the reggae fans? Because sometimes, again, we're very timid around the fans because we don't want to lose fans.
All right.
But what's the deal with the fan base? Is the fan base a supporter that likes to listen from afar, or are they an investing fan base that will support you? Because that's the difference with R&B and a lot of other genres.
Okay. I'm gonna go twofold with that question. Twofold answer. All right. Generally, in our culture, our people tend to pass the merch, walk past the merch. Generally.
Go to the bar.
We don't support.
Right. Yeah. Them just say, no, next time, and then give you a little hollow.
Yeah.
However, that's A. B, I'm going to really say this. I have noticed a difference with South Florida fans. My experience, especially with Code Red and a location that I was running for a while.
The farm.
Really, Rockwell?
The farm.
Really, Rockwell. Rockwell catch
the raise the bed.
Yes, but I realized that there was a difference with these people. These people are die-hearted fans of live reggae music. They really support it, and I started to see a shift. And I realized again, if there is structure, if you have solid entertainment coming and people realize, okay, this is the expectation and the bar keeps raising, then the culture changes and people say okay, it doesn't have to be a Luther Vandross or...
Will they buy a t-shirt?
Yeah.
I think they will buy a t-shirt at the event.
These people that I've noticed,
they're not going to go out of their way to buy it, but
can I
they'll buy
take
it
that one,
at the
Zemroy?
event.
Go ahead.
I did the merch for my band, right? All the merch and all that stuff I do. And I've sold a lot of merchandise. Like I've asked Rockwell for the metrics, but not specifics. I'm going to give you some not specific metrics. 98% of the merch that were purchased for Raps and Kush did not come from our community.
I understand.
All right? 98%. And I only gave the 2 because of the 2 homies. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, guess what? We got a lot more we're going to get into. It's almost that time. Keep it moving, keep it grooving. It is Homegrown.
Baby girl, I'm falling for you. Don't you know I'm falling for you? Baby girl, I'm falling for you. Can't you tell I'm falling for you? You got my mind and my heart and my soul calling for you. And I know you're falling for me too. Yeah. Oh, it's the beauty of your mind. Thoughts are pure and kind of captivates this heart of mine. Keeps me wanting you. Girl, you're divine like the sun that shine and brighten up my life. So much joy with you. I rise above my stress, conquer all my fears with the powers of Jah. Did it all with you. Trade nothing for a woman like you. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, yeah. Baby girl, I'm falling for you. Don't you know I'm falling for you? I'm falling for you. Don't you know I'm falling for you? You got my mind and my heart and my soul calling for you. And I know you're falling for me too. Yeah. Baby, when I met you, that's when I knew you had to stay. No more wishing, no more praying, just send you my way. Nothing but your love, where you take it and crown me. Joy and happiness when you there around me. With the grace of the King, your beauty shine from within. Girl, you're my everything. Falling for you. Don't you know I'm falling for you? I'm falling for you. Can't you tell I'm falling for you? You have my mind and my heart and my soul falling for you. And I know you're falling for me too. Yeah. that rushes to the shore and on the cross. Woman, you know your boundary like a dictionary. You brought meaning to my life, girl. You are so real, so virtuous, so pure. The best times I've seen, you've given me and so much more. Falling for you, don't you know I'm falling for you? I'm falling for you, can't you tell I'm falling for you? You got my mind and my heart and my soul, calling for you, and I know you're falling for me.
Yes. And this one is one of my favorite joints right now. This is Phil Watkins with a song called Falling For You. We're going to have Phil Watkins in the studio tomorrow. We'll figure out, we're going to live stream it. But, you know, so I'm sure I'll charge some advertising for them people when we see things are pouring in their back. But anyways, did I take your spot?
No, his knee took my spot.
Oh, sorry.
I ain't trying to, decapitate my brother. You feel me?
Listen, I appreciate everybody that's logged on. Again, we thank you so much. We really appreciate it. For those people who are, share it. We're almost out of here, but go ahead and share it with everybody. I don't know how long it'll be up there because it won't stay all night, but we'll have it on a podcast. Homegrown with G. Cole. Go to homegrownwithgcole.com. Check out what's going on over there. Before we wrap up and get out of here, I'm going to go through from each person. Yendi, I'll start with you. From an artist's point, what do you think local radio can do to help the success of the artists? What's your view on what local radio can do?
Wow. I mean, I think it really... I used to love when 103.5 used to have, like, the Artist of the Month. I think DJ Prince Marky D and LS1, they had a show years ago, and it was, like, Artist of the Month. I like when they have the Artist of the Month. I think they need to warm up a little bit to local artists a little bit. Even, right. I know that it has everything to do with numbers. But if they could create, I don't know if they do this, but if they could create like a package special or something, just to see, and if it creates some kind of noise, then you up the numbers. Right. You feel me? Or even like, how Hot 105, not Hot 105, but is it Hot 105 in New York City?
Yeah,
Power 105 or whatever it is. Power 105. Yeah, like how they have like, like how they have like compilation albums back in the day. I think like something like that. It needs. I know Power 96 used to do it. I don't know if they still do it.
So that's kind of asking stations to invest.
Yes, I mean something where they could come up with a package where the artist is investing and they're investing, or right. you know what I'm saying? Because I know at the end of the day, it's all about numbers. But right. if something can be created where the artist, it would be affordable for the artist. Because I know it's not the fact that the artist can't pay for it. I'm sure if it was a tiny bit of lower numbers, they right. probably will. The true artist would work towards it.
But give them the option. Because
right. I mean, I understand the business side of it doing broadcasting, so I can't really say the stuff I really want to say.
No, I got you. And guess what? We're going to get to that on the second episode. Sir Rockwell, from your standpoint, what can an artist do to help themselves? And I know we went through a lot, but just quick and straight to it. Right. What would you suggest an artist do right now? Local artists.
If we can go down the list, get serious about the craft. Mm-hmm. I think that's where it starts. Yendi touched on that. And we can't dismiss. You got to figure out what you want. We can't figure it out for you. And I'll tell you, I won't do that because I have done that and I have gotten artists to a level and then they don't show up for other interviews on other stations and let me down. They don't keep up with their music. They don't keep up with the production quality. They record for a great producer and give a great product, and then they go to their friend around the corner and do a half-ass project. And every step they have made forward is negated by that friend deal that they did around the corner. And then they have all these excuses. Boy, it was just my brethren or my sister, and I'm going to give them a little one tune. But understand that every song should be a step up.
Gotcha.
And I make no excuse about that. And I will not... You get to a point, I get a tune from you record with Jason or Zemroy, and then you do a bathroom project, and then as your next thing, and you come back and expect me to push it on the same level that the other tune was. It's just an impossibility. You can't do that. Remember, if the radio person has any care for their standard of the show, they have to maintain that. We're not on anyone's payroll. So where our obligation is to our listening audience and to our product. My product did not get on 42 stations because I didn't care about it. And I won't let an artist affect that. I will not.
So make your next work your best work.
So next work your best work. Step up. Understand that you don't have a name and you're dropping an album. For what?
Right.
Humble yourself, be
For what?
consistent.
Drop a single every 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Take the 12 songs that you would put on an album and space them out over a year and become a household name. Pick the fruit in your backyard first. That's how we know business.
Yeah, that's not normal. That's not a culture anymore, but I think that's the best way.
Everybody wants a Grammy, or everybody wants to go on tour in Europe, but nobody in them hometown know who they are.
Because J Vibe ain't sharing his. Jay, listen. Once you question, and speaking of production and so forth, once you hand over that final product to the artist, is your job as the producer done?
That's a great question.
With regard to helping to push that product.
Wow! After 2 J's, that's good.
Team-based, no.
Let's hear this answer. Start the thing. Start the thing, Jason.
Well, it depends. It depends, because before I enter into an agreement with the artist, I need to know what the artist is expecting from me.
Right.
Right? So usually they'll say, all right, well, aside from studio stuff and, production, mixing, blah, 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 whatever, all of that, they usually will say, well, listen, I want you to push it too, because I know you have connects, blase, blase, blah. And it's either up to me to say, all right, cool, I got you. Or, not this time, because I don't think you're ready. You have some stuff that you need to work on. I will push it when I feel that it is up to par.
Why?
Because my name is attached to it.
Yeah, but it's attached to it from the moment when you made it and you gave it to me, name attached to it, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So obviously at that point you
at that point, my job ends.
Exactly. You're an employee.
I'm as a producer, as a musician, as
and like you said,
else.
if that's what they employed you to do.
Exactly. That's what they employ. But
if it's a joint venture, then a different.
If it's a joint venture, then that's different.
All right, and Zemroy.
Yes.
How much does a proper novelty play into success? And here's my thing. What I'm gonna explain what I mean by the question. Right now, if I'm sitting back and I got some dough, and I'm gonna invest in an artist, I'm gonna probably try to find me a Middle Eastern dancehall artist or a white reggae singer where just no look the part. How much of a novelty? How does a novelty help? Having a novelty to your act. I'm not saying you can't go create white. Well, you know what I'm saying? But how much does a novelty help?
It helps. It helps a lot, and I say it without apology. Listen, if it's something just like in the word, the meaning of the word novelty. You understand? You eat brown stew chicken every day, but
okay.
But I want to hear where this is.
But this, but whatever. This man is into culinary, so whatever you use to sprinkle on top of it to make it look a certain way, you change it this week because people start get bored, or people just start lose interest. So the same way that a lot of other genres have borrowed,
recreate the wheel.
Exactly from our thing. They have borrowed from our ethnicity and our culture, our genre. The same goes. Yeah, you realize Afrobeat's big right now. It's a good idea. Find an African artist, put on your thing, and guess what? Unlike 20 years ago, we're talking about the World Wide Web. So therefore, the arena, the market that you have to sell your product in has expanded exponentially. So now you can drop this thing anywhere in the world. You don't have to even make noise here at home, but you're a hit somewhere else based on the fact that you exactly.
So now they're doing the work.
Thank you.
It's like getting a pyramid job. Get one person, get somebody else on your team, get somebody else on your team.
See it there.
You spread the word. Word of mouth get you very far.
Yeah.
Trust me.
100.
All right. Well, masses, first of all, from me and from the listeners out there, I want to thank you all so much for stopping in and spending all your evening with me. I appreciate it. Yendi, I'm going to start with you.
Thanks for the drinks. If I never had the drinks, I wouldn't be here.
We got you. Where can the masses check you out next?
Oh man, I got some shows that are in the mix coming up in regards to my music itself. But in the meantime, you could just follow me on Facebook, Yendi Songbird, and every social media there is. Instagram, it's Yendi Music. So definitely hit me up, follow me, like my pictures and my videos and stuff, and check out my updated shows with all the bands out here.
Love it. Zemroy,
Yes,
where can the
sir.
masses reach out to you for some great musicianship, some ill productions, and some vocal orchestration? What can I find you?
Well, they won't find me right now because I'm locked away.
Your voice locked away.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah, we're in the studio working 48 hours a day.
Love it.
But yeah, man, Zimmer Entertainment Inc. We're working on some serious things in collaboration with other entities like J Vibe Music.
We still overdue with our record.
Rock the box.net. We are working on the subject matter tonight, which is putting South Florida on the map.
The map will be ready for you on the map first.
All right,
say that, no?
I love it. J Vibe,
Yo.
where can they find you?
At J Vibe Music, IG, Facebook, Twitter, all of these things. Yeah, you find me there.
All right.
Or you find me on a Code Red stage.
Somewhere
around the place.
I'm familiar with that band too.
Yeah, Code Red band. One of the baddest bands around the world. Not the town. The world.
And I'm going to comment Code Red personally for this. You guys have contributed to most, if not all, the other bands going around in South Florida. Because of the unity, I love it. I love the unity among musicians. People always talk about the disunity amongst musicians. I don't see that right here. I say I'm in that room, I cuss off, But what I see,
family, so we're brothers. So cussing and all of that goes with it. It's a family.
Well, check out J Vibes.
This is a room full of years and memories right here.
Yes. I love it. Here's J Vibes' bio right here. If you want to check it out. So I got it. Sir Rockwell.
B-I-O.
Let the masses know where they can find you on all 142 stations across the globe.
142. I want to tell you that's my goal for 2018. By December 2018, I need to be at the 100. I'm at 42 right now, and I'm claiming.
You will be there.
I claiming the balance. I'm not going to do the math. I've been
by December. I should be working for you.
I am betting on it.
Yeah, but all right. Yeah. But Monday through Friday, rockthebox.net, 7 a.m. until 11 a.m. Mondays through Friday. Instagram, it's Sir Rockwell 247. Follow me on Twitter at rockthebox_247. Facebook, rockthebox.net. And congratulations. This back row here is about 20 years in the making. Seriously.
Yeah. Know that.
Yeah. This is a solid friendship. It's a pleasure finally meeting Yendi. I've played the music. We haven't been officially introduced.
Yes, sir. Great to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you. But
and it's so kind of messed up too, because I remember when we were in
used
high
to
school.
go to high school.
We went to high school together.
As a matter of fact.
So we went to high school.
Our first recordings
17.
before
16,
that.
17.
My first recordings were with Yendi.
And I was signed to Luke Records.
See there, Luke Records she was signed to at that time. So my first ever recordings and productions and dabblings and all of that, she was right there.
Do we have the last tapes?
And he was telling me to come to Ginger Bay and the Gardens when it was someone else at the time.
That time he had a ponytail.
He had a ponytail.
Them time I had hair.
No,
and
he had a fade. He had a fade back then.
And I was about
he didn't have the ponytail yet.
I was about 50 pounds lighter too.
That's part two.
We won't talk about when the band had to set up.
Hey, so in other words, I've seen all his ex-girlfriends. Most of them.
And I've seen most of your ex-boyfriends.
So
let's end the broadcast.
My show tomorrow morning, and we talk about J Vibe's ex-girlfriends.
Listen, trust me. Again, guys, thank you so much. I want to big up everybody logged in. David, thank you so much. Charity, Jayut the Front Burner, Apache Sounds, Melissa Lady Song, Joanna Marie, a whole bunch of people that's logged in right now. Chris Gale, I appreciate you out there. Much love.
Hold on, I want to say one last thing to all new upcoming artists, anybody that's trying to get into the business. There's a book by Donald Passman. right? About this music business.
Right.
Music.
Get it.
Business of music.
And it updates
Get
every
it.
edition.
Yeah, talk to people.
Educate yourself about publishing, your rights with publishing, and all of these things.
And it gives you the context, all these people you need
And
to
it
meet.
does give you contacts as well.
Word.
Contracts. Learn your craft, as Rockwell iterated. Right there, so.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has indeed been a pleasure. Remember, please subscribe to the podcast, Homegrown with G. Cole. It's available now on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Also, please check out the website, homegrownwithgcole.com, for all things homegrown. Be safe, be kind, and be good to each other. My name is G. Cole, and this is Homegrown.
Nakikinika sa música, Homegrown with G. Cole.
Estás escuchando Homegrown con G. Cole.
您现在正在收听的是 Homegrown with G. Cole.
You're listening to Homegrown with G. Cole.
Remember, all the music played here on the podcast Homegrown with G. Cole is available on iTunes, Spotify, and all your digital retailers. Please support the artists.